Hello friends, welcome to Basic Economy Lecture 2. It's raining out there. I hope we don't get disturbed by that. In this lecture, we'll see sectors of economy, GDP and its estimation, that is GDP based on expenditure, GDP based on production and GDP based on income. And in the next lecture, that is part 2 of this lecture 2, we will see net domestic product, gross national product, net national product and per capita income. Okay. So let's start with sectors of economy. There are basically three sectors of economy: primary sector, secondary sector, and tertiary sector. Activities like agriculture and forestry, livestock, fisheries, fuel, metals, and minerals, all these constitute to primary sector. The secondary sector constitutes activities like manufacturing and industries, food processing industry, textile industry. They constitute secondary sector. And the third sector is the tertiary sector. It constitutes activities like banking, insurance, transportation, tourism, education, and health, etc. This is tertiary sector. Let's come to types of economies. There are basically three: agrarian economy, industrial economy, and service economy. If the share of primary sector to GDP is more than 50%, then it is agrarian economy. If the share of industrial sector to GDP is more than 50%, it is industrial economy. And if the share of service sector to GDP is more than 50%, we say it is a service economy. So we can say China is an industrial economy, Australia, US is a service economy. Let's come to gross domestic product. As the term suggests, domestic means that which is produced domestically, that is within the boundaries of a nation. Even if a foreign company is establishing an automobile plant here in India, then we will include that in our gross domestic product because it has been produced domestically within the boundaries of a nation. We will include it in our GDP. Similarly, we will consider for services when foreign national come to India for work, and whatever the value of output they produce, we consider it in our GDP. Whereas consider an Indian employee in living in London and working there, we will not calculate that income produced by him in our GDP. Okay, so this is simple. GDP is strictly the value of goods and services within the territorial boundaries of a nation. Okay. Now let's come to methods of estimation of GDP. That is, we will see GDP based on expenditure or spending, which is one method of calculating GDP, and we will see GDP based on production and income. In GDP based on spending or expenditure, we will calculate the total spending by different groups participating in an economy. In GDP based on production, we calculate the total value of output that is produced within an economy, and in GDP based on income, we will calculate the total income of households. So let's understand this one by one. Let's come to GDP based on expenditure or spending. Now, what do we do here? We calculate the spending by different groups that participate in an economy. Now, who are these different people that participate in the economy? These are the people who spend money in the economy and raise demands in the economy for the items of their needs. Okay, we have seen this when we have studied aggregate demand. So let's revise this. Different groups that participate in the economy are following. There are three key players that participate in the economy. And what do we mean by participation in economy? They raise demands. They raise demands in the economy to satisfy their needs and wants. And because they are raising demand, they will spend their money in the economy. Okay, so these are the people who spend money in our economy. So first is consumer, people like you and me. Okay. Consumer spends on consumer goods and services, food, clothing, housing, etc. We call it C. Second is corporate. They spend on capital goods, that is factories and equipment. We call them I. And why do we call them call this spending by corporates on capital good as I investments, because these capital goods, that is factories, equipments, etc., will help in producing more goods and more profit. Okay, so in a way, these are investments. And third is government. Government spends on public goods, education, transport, etc. We call it G. So these three players are spending their money in the economy. And we have seen that along with these three factors, there is a fourth factor which buys goods and services from India. That is, other countries and foreign nationals who spend their money in India, in the Indian economy, and in return we export certain goods and services to them. And we call it net exports. Net exports is total exports of a nation minus total imports, gives net exports. Okay, so these are the four players of the economy who are spending their money to buy the goods and services of their liking. So when we calculate all the four spendings, that is C plus I plus G plus net exports for a given year, we get the gross domestic product, that is GDP of a nation for that year. Simple. This is how we calculate GDP by expenditure method. We calculate expenditure of all the four key players in the economy, and that is aggregate demand. That is also the GDP by expenditure method. Then we see GDP based on production. What we have seen in GDP based on expenditure method, we measured the total spending in the economy by all the key players of the economy. But what we will do in GDP by production method, we will go reverse. For example, in GDP based on expenditure, we calculate the spending. We calculate the spending of corporates. So now in GDP based on production, we will calculate the total output of goods and services produced by them. Okay, we will measure the total value of output, value of all goods and services produced in the economy. Then from this total output of final goods and services, we will minus the cost of intermediate goods and services. And why we will do this? Let's understand that. So we take into consideration the final output, and then from that final output, we subtract the intermediate goods and services. Let's understand this by an example. Let's say an automobile industry is manufacturing a car. The car is priced at 11 lakhs. So in GDP by production approach, we are considering the final output, that is this car at 11 lakhs. But in between the process of manufacturing, many other spare parts, nuts, bolts, etc., they are being consumed by the automobile industry, right? So automobile industry doesn't manufacture all of it by themselves. They get it from other small industries. Okay, they get these small parts from other small industries, but the value of these, the cost of these parts is already added in the cost of car. So okay, so the cost of spares, part, nuts, bolts is already included in the price of car. So we'll subtract the cost of these intermediate goods from the final good. In this similar manner, when we calculate GDP based on production, we calculate the total output of final goods and services, and from it we subtract the intermediate goods and services consumed, because the cost of this is already included in the cost of final product. Clear? Simple it is. Now let's come to GDP by income. In GDP by expenditure, we have seen that there are four players that spend their money in the economy. These are the three, and the fourth one is foreign nationals that spend their money in the Indian economy, that we calculate as net exports. Okay. Now suppose you are the consumer here, your expense is somebody's income, right? You spend money on consumer goods, that is an income for shopkeepers. Government spend money on social schemes, that is an income for Manrega workers. And Ratan Tata sir will spend money on capital goods, that is an income for manufacturers of capital goods. So somebody's expense is other man's income. And what we have done in GDP by production, we have calculated GDP by the total output produced by firms. Now in GDP by income, what we'll do, we'll calculate the total income of households. That is people like you and me. So let's see the total income by households. Now first of all, from where households will get their income? Households are people like us. Households provide land land, labor, and capital in the resource market. And in exchange of these resources provided by households, they get income, they get rent for the land, wages for their labor, and interest on their capital. Rent and wages is clear, rent on their land and wages for their capital. We'll understand this interest part. This interest we will understand. See, many households like to save money. But when households save money, there is a leakage in the circular flow of economy, and the saved money ends up in banks. However, banks again use the saved money to provide loans to business firms. Okay, and since business firms need to borrow money to acquire capital goods, okay, to cover other cost of business, these businesses borrow money from bank lend them money, but ultimately whose money it is? It is that of households that bank is lending to businesses. Okay, that originally belong to households, and therefore households that save money in the banks receive interest payments in return for the bank lending that money to the corporates. Now there is one more component. Some households are entrepreneurs who are business owners who seek profit by starting their businesses. Hence this income earned by household also includes the profits from their business enterprise. Okay. Hence the total income by household include rent plus wages plus interest plus profit earned from their enterprises. We get the total national income. And this when summed together, all this when summed together gives us the total national income. Now this is not the real total national income. We also need to adjust this for tax and depreciation. Why do we need to adjust this for tax and depreciation and net foreign income? Let's see that. Let's first adjust it for tax. So see, when we say that total national income is rent plus wages plus interest plus profit, but households also have to pay tax, right? So we have to adjust this total national income for sales tax or other tax. So that adjustment is necessary. Now let's see the adjustment for depreciation. Depreciation describes the value of an asset over time. Consider this, let's say you have a small photocopy business and you purchased a photocopy machine. After about an year, this machine will undergo some wear and tear, and as a result, the efficiency of this machine will decrease. Suppose it used to print 1,000 copies per day when you bought it. Now after an year, it just prints 500 copies. So if efficiency is decreased, and hence the profit that you earn from this machine will decrease. So ultimately this machine will require maintenance, regular maintenance. You have to spend money on the maintenance, right? And you will spend money for the maintenance of this machine. So we have to add this depreciation, that the money you spend on maintenance, to the total national income. Okay, now let's see the third adjustment for net foreign factor income. Net foreign factor income means total income that local citizens generate in foreign countries. Someone who is out of India, that is exports. Local citizens generate in foreign country, that is our exports. Minus the total income that foreign citizens and businesses generate in our country. Imports. This is again exports minus imports. This is net exports. Okay. So we have to adjust it for net exports also. So when we add all the four components, we get GDP by income of goods. So that was all about GDP and methods to estimate the GDP. So that's all for this lecture. In next lecture, we will see national income, we'll see net domestic product, we'll see gross national product, and we'll see net national product and per capita income. Hope it was helpful to you. Thank you.